Welcome to Vintage Gaming Memories. Shall we play a game?
Hello everyone and welcome to, or maybe it's welcome back to the channel. Either way, I'm glad you're checking this video out. I was pretty excited about this purchase that I made from a fellow Facebook group member who's located in the UK. And I've actually purchased a few good number of items from his collection that he was unloading. And this was probably one of the largest one in size. So let me show you what I got. And here it is. This is a 1978 Cadaco Foto-Electronic Bowling Game. And I guess this would probably fit the category of a tabletop game just based on its size alone. And just curious, how many out there have actually been familiar with the name Cadaco? Now I've heard that name probably because they were once based in my hometown of Chicago where I grew up, but probably more because of commercials like this one for the boom ball toy that I've seen.
Every shot is a blast of sound. The harder you hit it, the bigger the boom. It's what excitement sounds like from Cadaco.
And as for the games they produced, they were mostly board games like these from before my time. Like this 1968 baseball game, this 1969 hockey game, and even this 1973 basketball game. Now they look pretty cool, but they're definitely not electronic like this photo-electronic bowling one, but they were games nonetheless. Just a quick background on a company named Cadaco, since it's probably not one that you might recall from the past like Coleco or Mattel. It was a company that Charles Berolsheimer and Don Mazer started back in 1935. Imagine that. That was about 90 years ago, and they started that in their garage in San Leandro, California. Now, the name Cadaco is actually an acronym for Charles and Don and Company. It's pretty creative. The branding of the name, though, Cadaco, on toys and games, that all ended in 2010 when they were acquired by Poof Slinky. So they had a nice run for about 75 years. Let's check out this game. Obviously, I got it with the box, which is great. And let's see what advertisements we have on this box. It says that you can control the speed and direction of the bowling ball. And there's the bowling ball. The bowling ball is sealed in the game, which is nice, so you can't lose it. There's volume control. You can play 1 to 2 players, ages 8 and up. The size of the game is shown here. So it is 5 inches by 16 inches long. Light, sound, action. Digital scoring. And you can hear the ball moving in there. I don't know if you can catch that in the video, but the ball's moving around. And the side of the box here, pretty much the same type of advertisement all around. So let's look at the bottom. Oh, the bottom's got some writing here, a lot of writing. Looks like the actual gameplay, preparation, what kind of power source it needs here. Looks like 2 9-volt batteries needed. And then details on how to score, how to read the scoring or the digital score. And then, of course, the warranty, which is quite expired. And there's the address for Cadaco that was in Chicago. All right, well, let's get this thing out of the box and let's see what we're dealing with. Okay, well, here is the game out of the box. And I guess it definitely cannot be a handheld game. Must be a tabletop based on the way the position of this game has got an angle from the front to the back. You're going to be aiming that ball, your bowling ball, from here going up the lane. So you definitely have to have this on a kind of a solid surface so that way the ball kind of travels nice and easy upward towards the pins. Let's see, what else can I show you before we actually play this? I want to probably clean it up a little bit and maybe fix a couple things. Some things that I was aware of from the seller. First thing is the sticker that goes over the lights for the pins here. You can see that it's kind of buckling up a little bit. It just needs to be glued down, and I have to do that pretty carefully because I don't want to rip this paper from the edge here where it sort of curls up a bit. So I'm going to be very careful when I apply the glue to get this to stay flat, and that I'll do first. And then I'll just probably clean this up, maybe polish the plastic a little bit. You would think there'd be a lot of scratches with the ball moving around so freely and maybe hitting the plastic from underneath, especially during shipment, but looks pretty good. What else can I see here? The back side. Here's what we have here. We have open, close. I'm not sure what that does, but I'll have to read the instructions. Instructions on the back of the box, that is. Here's your battery compartment, looks like. A little indicator of it, which would probably be right here. And that looks nice and clean. That looks really good. And I think this is the volume control. Yeah. So check this out. You just turn this little half circle and you can get more of the holes exposed for the sound to come through. And that's how you control the volume. That's halfway, and that is completely off, which I'm sure you could still hear it through the holes. But that's the volume control. Pretty interesting. Now, the padding on the bottom of the legs are intact, which is great. I don't know what else we can look at before I clean this up and kind of get more information from the back of the box here on how to play this. So what I'll do really quick here is come right back in a second. This will be polished, cleaned, also glued down. Then I'll explain how the game works, and we'll play a couple games to see how it goes. I just want to share with you guys what I'm going to do to fix this curling sticker that's coming up here on top. It's not just as simple as putting some glue behind it and pushing it down, because this is really old and I think it's going to be curling up and not wanting to stay down that easily. So, as you can see, watch, it's like really stiff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my heat gun, warm it up a little bit. And then after I get it warmed up so it's more flexible, I will put some glue, probably Gorilla Glue, because you could use that on paper as well. And then what I did was I have some shims, some cedar shims here. I cut one to size. That will fit perfectly right here. It'll hold it down like that. Then just get some clamps. And then this will hold it in place. Put one on each side. Probably leave it like that for a few hours so that we know that it's completely dried and flattened. Maybe even longer, maybe overnight, just to be safe. And then I'll start to clean up after that. So here we go. Here you can see the back side of the wood, which I have just a very little bit of that sticker showing, and that's because I want to make sure that the pressure from the wood that's being applied by those clamps doesn't have any of that glue coming out the ends and then end up sticking to the wood, and then trying to remove it, you're going to peel off some of that sticker. So that's kind of a precautionary thing. But I don't see any excess glue coming out of it, so that looks great. And that pressure being applied on that clamp looks perfect across the edge there. So I think this will be nice and flat when we look at it in about 24 hours. All right, it's been a day now that I had this glued and clamped down to get it all flat as far as the sticker goes. So let's see how this looks before I clean up and polish the rest of this. So I'll be really careful about taking this piece of wood off, which I'm sure is going to be fine. But just in case it's stuck to the sticker, I want to make sure I don't rip that apart. There we go. That looks great. It is absolutely flat. And it's not sticking up anywhere. Just needs to be cleaned a little bit. You can see some of the little discoloring areas of the black. That was there before I started, so I don't know if I can get that clean, but I'll try. But we'll clean everything else up as far as the plastic goes. And then we'll go and check out and see how this game works and talk a little bit more about how to play it. All right, this game is now clean and polished with the Novus One product. And I have to say, it turned out really good. You can see here the plastic has really no swirls or scratches on it. The only, I guess, blemish you'd see is right there. And now that's on the inside. So that's probably where the ball is hitting it. But other than that, the outside looks great. The sticker is still flattened after I glued it and clamped it down, and I wasn't expecting it to come up anyways. It's super glued. Everything else looks perfect. The backside looks great as well. So after I went ahead and polished it, I did some reading. I actually read the instructions on the back of the box, and now it makes perfect sense. And what am I talking about? Well, if you didn't notice it, I turned this thing over and you didn't hear the ball rattling around. So, what happened to that ball? Right? You might recall earlier in the video, I was wondering what this little knob was for. It's in the closed position right now. So what it does is opens up this little flap, a little door. If I could show you it. Right there. You see it moving? It's probably hard to tell, but it's moving right now. And that door currently has got the ball inside there. So that's why it's not moving around. This is to be used for transportation or when you store the game. Luckily, I didn't notice any damage as this came across the pond with that ball moving freely. But now I know what to do if I do store this or if I have to transport this, which I'm not moving this anywhere. It's going to be staying in my collection. And also, as expected, the instructions state that this game must be placed on a flat surface like a table, desk, or even the floor, and you need to lower the lights so that you could see the display easier. And this display is right there. It's kind of low. If you're like playing this game, you're standing up or on an angle like this, you're not going to really see the display clearly. So when I do start the game, I'm going to adjust this camera so you have a nice head-on view and you can see the display better. Now, after reading the instructions, there's some other things about this game that I will call out. Obviously, it's a 1 to 2 player game, as you can see the switch here. That switch is also the power on and off switch. Off in the center position, you put 1 player or 2 player, the game will start immediately. And when you turn it on, it will also run through a built-in electronic system test before the scoreboard displays 0 and 1 for a 1-player game or 0, 1, 0 for a 2-player game. And what that 0 is actually the score, and the 1 is the frame you're in. So 0, 1, player 1, 0, frame 1. And if it's 0, 1, 0, the 1 in the middle is the frame, and 0, 0 is the score for both player 1 and player 2 in the beginning. It also states in instructions that a musical invitation to bowl will greet you when you turn it on. So I can't wait to hear that. I should probably tell you how you roll the ball. Being that this is on an angle upward, you're going to have to shoot that ball up, and this is where you use this little control here. And now there's a little dial here where you can just kind of go left and right with it. And what you're going to do is once the ball is inside here, you're just going to press down on it to release the ball. Harder you press down on it, probably the faster it'll go, right? So you don't want to really bang on this, but it says you can use your finger, your thumb, or your fist, which I'm not going to use my fist, being that this is about 45 years old. Probably use my thumb or my finger, and I'll just press down on it hard, and it'll just launch the ball forward. But of course, you have your angles to make sure you pick up a spare, or if you want to try to get a strike on a little bit of an angle. So with all that said, let's go ahead and put some batteries in. It takes 2 9-volt batteries. And then I'll release this ball, and then we'll go ahead and try this out. Okay, I repositioned the camera, also adjusted the lighting. You should now be able to get a clean, clear view of this display, which will show up right here when I power it on. And let's try a 1-player game. And we will listen to the greeting it gives you when you turn it on, as well as the self-test that will go through, which we'll see on that little display area. So here we go. All right, ready to go. 0, 1. The flashing 1 is the frame. The ball has been released, and it's ready to go. And I'm just going to aim it straight on, and let's see what we get. That's a little bit of a split. Picked up 4 pins, 6 remaining. This is my second shot. All right, 3 remaining, 7 points. Scoring is just like you normally would see with bowling. If you get a strike, it's 10 points plus the total pins you knock down on your next 2 rolls, and a spare would be 10 points plus the total pins you knock down in your very next roll. So you could score 300 with strikes in every frame. We're in a second frame with 7 points. Let's see if we get a spare or a strike. Look at that, strike. Since I got a strike, there's 2 lines shown under the frame number. That's to indicate it was a strike. And if I had a spare, it would be 1 line. 2 strikes in a row would be 3 lines. The 10th frame will have an O in the display box. And then if there were extra balls for the 10th frame, it would display an E. All right, let's see if I can get another strike. Oh, I left 1 pin. Okay, let's see if I can angle that and pick it up without going into the gutter. You have a chance of a gutter ball on each side, of course. Did not pick it up. All right, 4th frame. Angle a little bit. See if I can get a spare. That's going to be my goal. All right, here we go. Here we are in the 5th frame. Another strike. I won't look at it now because I'm playing, but I want, well, you know, I can do it. Let's take a look and see what the volume level's at, because it's pretty loud. It is closed, so that's the lowest it could be. I want to open it up all the way. Let's see how much louder it gets. Okay. All right, let's try this now. It's a little bit louder for sure. I can tell. All right, let's see if we can pick this up. There we go. That's the sound of a spare. 7th frame. My score is 73. I got 1 more to pick up, the 10 pin. It's pretty durable. I'm hitting it pretty hard, and I'm not concerned about breaking anything. 8th frame, my score is 92. That's not good. I had a little bit of an angle on that. We'll see if we can pick this up. Of course not. 102. 9th frame. Oh, that one on the angle, that was not good. All right. 111, and here we go on the 10th frame. A strike. All right. So here we go. See if I can pick that up. Get a spare. Nope. That will do it. Let's hear the tones at the end. That's it. Keeps blinking with the score, 134. All the pins light up. Pretty cool. Let's take a look and see what a 2-player game looks like. We'll just do 1 frame. Turn it on. Does this little self-test. And you can see the 0 on the left is for player 1. 1 in the middle is the frame. And then the 0 on the right is player 2, which does line up with the player 1 on the sticker here and player 2. Actually, you know what? Let's wait a second or two, because I think I read that there is a warning or a notice that it's waiting for you to do something after so many seconds. Let's see if we can get that tone to come up. There it is. So all the lights go off. You just hear the sound. I guess it's saving some of the juice on the battery by doing that, but that's the notification that, hey, waiting for you to do something. So we'll just bowl here and let's see if it stops. There we go. Now, another thing is that if you don't press this hard enough, it doesn't register as an actual attempt. Well, let's see. A little bit harder. Yeah, you see it won't register even on the gutters. So it definitely has to hit the sensors that are underneath here in order for it to actually count. And there we go. So that was player 1's turn. Player 2 is now up. Okay, so it flashes to tell you which player's turn it is with the frame. Well, that's a good example. That went pretty far, but it didn't go far enough to register anything. So it didn't count that one as a roll. Okay, here's my second attempt. All right. So that's how this game goes. It's pretty cool. I think for 1978, I have to say, this is pretty fun. And I'm not a really big bowling fan. I mean, I don't really bowl on my free time in real life, but handheld games, I have maybe, 3 or 4 of them now, which is kind of strange. I'm not into that sport too much, but it's kind of a cool game to play. And it's pretty cool to see a game like this come out. And actually, I'm happy to see a game like this exist in this condition with the box and no issues with playing, no issues with being just as rough and tough as you might have want to been back in the day. I'm not concerned about breaking anything. Look at that strike. I definitely wouldn't punch it though. I mean, it is plastic. All right, well, here's a good view of how this game works on the inside. Now, you see those little metal tabs in the back? And then the ball is to the far right. It's in the gutter, actually. But when the ball makes contact to any of those metal tabs, that's what will indicate how many pins you knock down, or if you have a gutter ball. So it's pretty simple, but of course you have to launch the ball hard enough to make contact before it springs back and rolls down with gravity back to the launcher again. There's one thing I want to show you that I didn't get a chance to while we're playing the game, which was the actual launching of the ball. The ball right now is in this little launching mechanism. You can see the ball there. And all it really is this plastic piece here that you press down on, which will then move that other piece of plastic. It just swivels forward. More force you press on it, the faster the ball will go. And hopefully you get yourself a strike. But that's all it is. It's plastic pushing plastic against that metal ball. So you wonder how durable this is. Well, again, 45 years ago, actually, how many years is this? 47-year-old game. It's still working, but, you know, look at the condition of this. This has been well taken care of. So I'm sure many of these probably haven't made it this long, but that is how this works. And I can see this breaking if you have a very aggressive child playing. Well, that will wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching it to the end. This is the 1978 Cadaco Foto-Electronic Bowling Game. I think this is a great pickup. Definitely a rare item. I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know if you've ever seen this before. Maybe you owned it. Love to hear your stories about it because I've never seen this before. I'm just very happy that I was able to purchase this from a fellow collector in the UK. And it comes in this great condition as well as with the box. And yeah, it's a definite nice pickup. I'm very happy to have. Now, the only problem I'm going to have really is to find space because this does take quite a bit of space. But I'll make sure I lock that ball in place before I do that. Thanks again for watching. And remember, keep that gaming passion from the past alive by living it today. Take care, everyone.